Hello everyone again. I would like to welcome you all to our first series of HR at EmployeeWise. I am your host Gunjan Garg, Customer Relationship Executive at EmployeeWise. HR at EmployeeWise webinar series are presentations delivered by our functional consultants. This series will aim to educate our customer community and take on any questions they may have regarding how the practice of human resources fit into EmployeeWise. Today, I have with me Manpreeti Singh, who is a functional consultant at EmployeeWise. The webinar will be conducted for about an hour, and after the presentation, we will be taking up your questions in the Q&A session. So now, I would be handing over the presentation to Manpreeti Singh.
Thanks, Gunjan. Hi, everyone. Let's get started with today's session on organization design or organizational structure. Concept of organization structure. An organization structure defines how tasks are formally divided, grouped, and coordinated. Structure is a pattern in which various parts or components are interrelated or interconnected. Thus, organization structure is the pattern of relationships among various components or parts of organization. This prescribes the relationships among various activities and positions. Since these positions are held by various people, the structure is the relationships among people in the organization. How organization structure is related with EmployeeWise? In EmployeeWise, the Employee Information Portal or EIP module forms a platform or base for other modules. To have the data as per the organization structure, we need to first define the company or companies, business units, functions, processes if any, grades, grade levels, organizational roles, so that the complete organization structure is correctly defined into the system and employees can accordingly be mapped. Now there are various key elements which should be kept in mind while defining the organizational structure. These key elements are work specialization. The essence of work specialization is that rather than an entire job being done by an individual, it is broken down into a number of steps, with each step being completed by an individual. By doing so, employee skills at performing a task successfully increases through repetition and less time is spent in changing jobs. Also, it's easier and less costly to find and train workers to do specific job. Departmentalization. Once the jobs are divided through work specialization, they are required to be grouped together so that common tasks can be coordinated. One of the most popular ways to group activities is by functions performed. A manufacturing manager might organize his or her plant by separating engineering, accounting, manufacturing, human resources into common departments. Departmentalization might also be done on the basis of geography or on the basis of different processes. Chain of command. The unbroken line of authority that extends from the top of the organization to the lowest echelon and clarifies who reports to whom. We need to know two concepts for this. First one is authority. It refers to the rights inherent in a managerial position to give orders and expect others to be obeyed. And second is unity of command. This principle states that a person should have one and only one supervisor to whom he or she is directly responsible. If the unity of command is broken, an employee might have to cope with conflicting demands from several supervisors. However, the chain of command, authority, and unity of command have less relevance today because of advancements in information technology and the trends towards empowering employees. Span of control. How many employees can a manager efficiently and effectively direct? This question of span of control is important because to a large degree it determines the number of levels and managers an organization has. All things being equal, the wider or larger the span, the more efficient the organization. However, narrow span of control is expensive as it adds levels of management. They make vertical communication in the organization more complex and it encourages over tightly supervision and discourage employee autonomy. Centralization and decentralization. Centralization is the degree to which decision-making is concentrated at a single point in the organization, and decentralization being vice versa. There has been a marked trend towards decentralizing decision-making. In a decentralized organization, action can be taken more quickly to solve problems, more people provide input into decisions, and employees are less likely to feel alienated from those who make the decisions that affect their work lives. And the last key element is formalization. The degree to which the jobs in an organization are standardized is known as formalization. Standardization not only eliminates the possibility of employees engaging in alternative behaviors, but it even removes the need for employees to consider alternatives. But on the other hand, there are clerical jobs which are required to be standardized. Moving to the different types of structures, there are three common organizational designs which are found in different organizations. One being simple structure or line organization, bureaucracy or functional organization structure, and third one being the matrix structure. Simple structure. As mentioned in the diagram, a simple structure has an owner or manager to whom all the employees directly report. A simple structure is most widely practiced in small businesses in which the manager and the owner are the same. The strength of simple structure lies in its simplicity, flexibility, and inexpensive maintenance. However, on the other hand, simple structure becomes increasingly inadequate as an organization grows because its low standardization and high centralization tends to create information overload at the top. As size increases, decision-making typically becomes slower and can eventually come to a standstill. There are other simple structures which are hierarchical organization structure and line staff organization structure. Hierarchical organization structure has owner at the top, managers at the next level, and employees reporting directly to the managers. Another example of simple structure is the line staff structure, which is similar to the hierarchical structure with line staff or support staff in between the levels as mentioned in the diagram. Now we come to the bureaucracy or the functional organization structure. A structure with highly routine operating tasks achieved through specialization, very formalized rules and regulations, tasks that are grouped into functional departments, centralized authority, narrow spans of control, that is more number of levels, and decision making that follows chain of commands. The primary strength of this structure lies in its ability to perform standardized activities in a highly efficient manner. There is little need for innovative and experienced decision makers below the level of senior executives. The major drawback of this kind of organizational structure is that it creates sub-unit conflicts. Functional unit goals override the organizational goals. Also, there is obsessive concern with following the rules and regulations. And finally, we have the matrix organization structure. Matrix organization structure is a popular organization structure usually found in advertising agencies, aerospace firms, construction companies, government agencies, management consulting firms, hospitals, and entertainment companies. Essentially, the matrix combines two forms of departmentalization, functional and product. The strength of functional departmentalization lies in putting like specialists together, which minimizes the number of necessary while allowing the pooling and sharing of specialized resources across the products. Its major disadvantage is the difficulty of coordinating the task of diverse functional specialists so that their activities are completed on time and within budget. Product departmentalization, on the other hand, just has the opposite benefits and disadvantages. The most obvious structural characteristic of the matrix is that it breaks the unity of command concept. Employees in the matrix structure have two bosses, the functional department manager and the product manager. The strength of matrix lies in its ability to facilitate coordination when the organization has a multiplicity of complex and interdependent activities. It facilitates the efficient allocation of specialists. The major disadvantage of matrix lies in the confusion it creates, its propensity to foster power struggles, and stress it places on individual. Now, what's the relation of matrix and functional organization structure with employee-wise? When we have a matrix or functional organization structure, we need to define the immediate supervisor and the functional supervisor for an employee, which helps in approval of leaves, expenses, and other requests raised by an employee for approvals based on which various workflows are defined in employee-wise. Thus, employee-wise provides a flexible structure and allows configuration of workflows that would be required by these types of organizations.